Hey guys, Big Chonis here. We're going to do a quick update here on my live 24-hour live Big Chonis TV channel here. Hope you guys are enjoying it. Just kind of a beta test here, but I'm looking forward to adding new features and a couple interesting new ideas that I have definitely along the way. And so we had our 30-minute chart right here. And let me just adjust this here. So listen, we had a very big bear break earlier today. And when we actually hit our bottom here is where I actually drew my initial fib. Now, I did this from a bottom to top. So instead of going from a swing low to a swing high, I actually went from a swing high to a swing low. And what we were looking for here is on this bounce here, what areas we could achieve on that kind of a bounce. Now, we only were able to get up to the 2, 3, 6 of this fall here before we actually found that resistance, fell back, put in a lower high, and actually broke our earlier low there and are currently holding in that area. 30-minute resistance on the EMA 12. So this is still very weak here in terms of our momentum here, even on this low time frame, to have that kind of resistance here. Looking at our hour time frame here, so our Bollingers were actually very wide back over here, and what happened here was when we actually broke very bearish there, we actually were able to spread these out and also fan out our EMAs here. Now notice where we have our initial rejection, again EMA 12 on our hourly chart here, and how much farther we have to go up to retest these upper areas here, middle BB or MA 200 and whatnot here. That's on our hourly chart here. Let me adjust that, guys. So our 4 hour. Now you notice, I'm gonna get rid of our count here for just a moment, because we see how our Kumo cloud, for all these candles here, every time we wicked into it was actually major resistance there. We were not able to break through, and finally the bulls just gave up, and that's kind of what brought us down there. Also our MA 200, which is red line here, we actually did almost touch it here, but failed to break through. So this MA 200 on their 4 hour, very strong resistance. And I made this tweet a day ago about how tight our Bollingers were on our 4 hour. And the last times we have been that tight, and we've been tight before, but this was incredibly tight to only have a price gap of like maybe $100 on our 4 hour Bollingers is incredibly rare. And the last couple times we've had that, we actually broke very bearishly. So that playing out allowed us to basically break bearish and actually stay below our lower Bollinger Band for several candles, and we still are not even inside it yet. We're still on the outside finding resistance here. Now, our sideways price action, our lower wicks here, has allowed this to slowly begin to crawl into our lower BB, but you see how we have also this fanning out here of our EMAs. Now, we'd worked so hard over the last week to get up and to use these EMAs and MAs actually as support, and they were resistance along the way up. We were able to break through. We had this bear break here. We were able to find support once again, and all that work for naught. And this is a very similar pattern than we have seen kind of from the last time we did this back in August there, where we actually just kind of rose up here and then just broke bearish, really quickly once again here. Now, technically, yes, we are still putting in that higher low. As long as we can maintain that, okay, the bulls definitely have a chance to kind of build on this higher low and still move forward. Notice on our daily chart, which is this one right here, we actually found our support at the 786 level there, which was yesterday's candle close. So we had a little bounce from that. Came back to retest it. We broke it ever so slightly, but currently that's what's holding our price up right now on this little doji that we're only an hour into this current daily candle. So listen, we found support on a typical fib that we like to find support on, and we have allowed us to put in that higher low. Now notice this support back test line here, this pink line, which is actually where we'd wicked off on several candles here, finding that resistance, finally able to break bullish from it. And a lot of times we see when we're able to break through a resistance line there, we actually are able to find that back test, right? Get back test down at there and confirm it as now a support line. We've yet to do that, and we're kind of angled to potentially do that. So initially, I would actually see this line here as support if we are going to test it. Depending upon when we test it, it still keeps us roughly above 6K if it happens in the next couple days there. Our hourly stochastics here. Now remember, we were yesterday, we were in this very tight wedge here, okay? Lower high, higher low, broke bearish, came all the way back down, set a new trend line here, and we're actually able to build on this a little bit. So we have our stochastics on our hourly rising, but our price is just basically dead flat. So this is bearish in terms of we're beginning to run out of that running room, that we want to find. This is just nothing of a really good bounce or anything. And normally when we see this after a bear break, we look for that continuation after this pause. This is our 30-minute RSI here, and we were angled down all day. Again, this little bounce here is producing barely any movement in our RSI. It's still very weak. And because we put in this lower high here, this little bounce here basically earlier in the day was kind of meaningless. So now we have a lower high, which I can reset my fib to down to about 62.02. And currently, because of that, we're now finding that resistance under the 23.6 level where we'd actually found support on earlier yesterday. Until we break through our EMA 12, we're not going to be able to test these higher levels. And if it remains that resistance, we could definitely be testing lower areas. Our volume is pretty lackluster. And this bearish break here we had was on high volume, high bear volume, because our candle wick here actually was not bought up that great. So I'm just going to revert back here to my single chart. There we go. And I'm going to go to our daily. And let's just look real quick here at our daily RSI, and listen, the 45 level once again was that resistance area that we were unable to break through. So again, we have a very tight equilibrium here. Now I know that on the weekly chart, this actually looks like a very tight pattern, and I see this pattern as bearish because it's a continuation pattern of this symmetric triangle. And if we basically kind of spell this out here, we're clearly seeing something like this, and the E wave is kind of a failed wave most of the time in this pattern, where we failed to even get up to retest. Let me get rid of this guy here. We get up to retest this resistance line and we just fall through. So because on the weekly, we're right there again, right there holding that support line that we really do not want to break through, because if we do, then this line can actually act as resistance, where it's currently acting as support on the weekly chart. Again, back to our 4-hour, and that that bear break we had earlier in the day here, really took us down back to this 30 level. Double touch again, and we really want to be above 30. All that work we did, all that work to get up over 50, we just got thrown away, in this bear break through the day here. So because of that, and what we're seeing in the charts here, we're slowly going down. This is a bear flag currently playing out. If you go wick to wick here, we're basically doing something of a parallel descending. And that's a bearish continuation that could take us definitely down another several $100s to retest that 6K level. And again, there's a whole new story of Bitcoin that's sub 6K we can definitely tackle if we get there. But we keep putting in these slight higher lows, but definitely lower highs. How long can that pattern continue? So this is just a quick update here, guys. I hope you guys are enjoying Chonis 24/7 here, and I definitely want to expand on this, work on this, kind of add some cool features, and definitely enjoy your feedback in terms of what you're seeing, what you like, and some other features that I might be able to add onto it, because I think this is a cool resource that through the day, just a quick check to see what's going on with Bitcoin, and to have a quick spread of several different time frames, several different indicators I'm watching, and you get to kind of a very good panoramic perspective of kind of where we are in the day and the pattern. And you can quickly note if you're in some certain extreme areas, such as a very low 30-minute RSI, or a very oversold stochastic, or a fib level that's been touched. When you saw this bear break, a lot of people were looking for that 786 level to hold support. Initially it did, and actually proved at least a little nice bounce initially. Took some profit on that. So we see after our very tight Bollinger on our 4-hour, we actually broke bearish, and that's consistent with what we were expecting because of what happened the last time. Our Bollingers were so tight here. So just a quick update here. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll keep the 24-hour Chonis live channel going. And you guys can find me on Twitter. I'm at Big Chonis, and I also have been doing my mentoring through September here. If you guys have any interest in that, please feel free to DM me on Twitter, or reach out to me on Gmail, bigchonis@gmail.com. All right, guys. Thank you so much. And until then, we will talk to you guys soon. And I'll definitely want to get some more interesting music in our background here. I'm playing around with what is available to me currently for free on YouTube. So we'll get some more interesting things here. But I think we're doing pretty good with the 1812 Overture. Okay, guys. Until then, talk to you guys soon. Peace out.